All right. So our last review of the day is going to be for the Atlanta episode, Teddy Perkins. This was the episode 6 of season 2. This won the poll there as far as which kind of horror themed episode of television we should review. And if people want to vote on different polls, they can do so at twitter.com. There, just type in Afternoon Tune. We have a bunch of different polls up right now. Movies, shows. It is October horror season there. Which kind of horror movies, shows, or horror themed episodes should we review there? And this ended up winning the poll. And so Teddy Perkins was an episode of Atlanta here where we had Lakeith Stanfield's character who went to go pick up a piano. All he wanted to do was just pick up a nice piano here. It was this cool piano he saw on the message board. People, and then he was like, I'm going to go to Georgia, pick this thing up, come back. But it's not that simple. There as he runs into Teddy Perkins. And when you watch this episode, did you know that it was Donald Glover who was dressed up in all the makeup and everything like that? Or?
Immediately, no. Eventually, I caught on to the voice. I was like, oh, that's Donald Glover doing a voice. And then, because I think this was the first time in the show where he did that, and he continues to do that later on in the show. He makes fun of Tyler Perry in either season 3 or season 4, and he puts on a fat suit, and he plays this guy who's running a studio in Atlanta, Georgia, of course, and the actors are overworked. They're like the same actors are like going from set to set, and one day filming different scenes for different stuff, and like when it all catches up to him, the character he's playing, he's like this over the top theatrical, overzealous, like, I'm in control, this is my studio, my eyes are everywhere, like you will do as I say, I am, Tyler Perry. Yeah, I did not know immediately that it was Donald Glover. No.
So this is him. Donald Glover is on the left, and then you have Teddy Perkins on the right here. So this is him playing them in the show. But then they also had Teddy Perkins where he became like this entity outside the show. Where he showed up at like award shows and things.
Yeah, and the question was, who is Teddy Perkins? Like who's under the mask? Like who right now? Who's dressed as him? Because that's not Donald Glover.
Yeah, because there was a picture of like him at an awards premiere, and it was Teddy Perkins next to him, and it was Donald Glover. So it's like, okay, who's the guy now that's putting on the Teddy Perkins kind of makeup now? So yeah, he showed up at an award show, so you did have him there. So yeah, that was kind of something. Oh, this is the photo, yeah, where they were at the award show together right here. That was right there.
Scary looking, man.
And do you see the woman? Who's that? Issa Rae in the back, I think, right there. That's like her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah, you kind of got that going on there. But yeah, I mean, when this episode came out, a lot of people talked about it, dissecting the episode as well. Like, what's all the different themes and meaning behind the episode? The Easter eggs in the episode, like, what does it reveal? Because people were like, so you have this setup where, so he goes to pick up this piano, he meets this guy, Teddy Perkins, and this guy, you see that he's talking about his life. He says he lives with his brother, and his brother was this Benny, who's this famous musician, and there's photos everywhere, all this memorabilia everywhere in the house. And you see he's got photos with famous musicians like Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson, and you see all these kind of different people there. And a lot of people think the Teddy Perkins character is very much, him and Benny are very much a representation of Michael Jackson, who we know there, the singer, famous singer, who, if you ever listen to Michael Jackson talk about his, childhood and his life, and what happened, like Joe Jackson, everything like that, very traumatic stuff there. And you talked about it in interviews there of how Joe Jackson basically he just would beat the shit out of them. If they missed a cue, if they did something there, he just would completely beat the shit out of them there. And that kind of, people think that really kind of led to a lot of the issues Michael Jackson had, in his childhood and, in his adulthood there, and his relationship, kind of with children there. And this is kind of Michael Jackson talking about it right here, where he kind of mentions the abuse that he suffered there.
When you would be practicing, you were very heavily disciplined by your father. What was that like?
Well, I didn't have it that hard because he used me as the example. It was like, do it like Michael, you know. And he practiced us with a belt in his hand. And if you miss a step, expect to be.
Just let me go back. You just said that you would practice the dance steps and your father would be holding a belt in his hand. Is that what
Yeah.
you just said?
Yes. And he would tear you up if you missed. And so we, not only were we practicing, we were nervous rehearsing because he sat in the chair and he had this bell in his hand. And if you didn't do it the right way, he would tear you up, really get you. And I got it a lot of times, but I think my brother Marlon got it the most because he had a hard time at first. And he tried so hard. And it was always, do it like Michael, do it like Michael, you know. But the others were very nervous, and I was nervous too, you know, because
Yeah. I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, it's like the horror story there.
I didn't mean to laugh. I apologize. There's just history with Marlon struggling to keep up with everyone else, like as a performer. That's all.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So it was, yeah. I mean, that's been well documented and talked about. And even, you know, the mention that the Benny, he has like a skin condition and he can't go out into the sun. And then you also have Teddy Perkins there, who's also, you know, has the form of, you know, kind of like, I guess, plastic surgery there. He's made himself look whiter. People mention that with like Michael Jackson there, how he made his skin look whiter. But people say, oh, but he had vitiligo, that it was just that. Like he didn't, you know, he didn't do that cosmetically with that kind of situation. I know you said the episode isn't too fresh in your memory, but what do you remember?
I remember that season 2 was robbing season, so that was a big theme throughout the season. Paperboy gets robbed. I think Earn almost gets robbed, and I think this is Lakeith's episode, Darius, where he kind of gets ripped off. Does he in the end, does he make it away with the piano? Is there any piano? Because I remember by the end of the episode they're in a dungeon. I think Teddy has his sibling chained.
So yeah, so it gets revealed at the episode that Benny is in the basement, and then because Darius is trying to get out with the piano,
Yeah,
he goes to the basement. Then I'll play a clip of it, but he goes to the basement, yeah, and he sees Benny. He can't speak. He can only use a chalkboard, and he's got to write messages on the chalkboard. So he's telling Darius that, like, he's holding up a message like, "Get the gun in the attic," and then or Teddy's gonna kill us. And then Darius is like, okay. Well, hold on just a second. I'm gonna put my piano in my car, and then I'm gonna come right back. I swear, and I'm gonna get the gun for you. I promise. But let me just go get the piano. Let me put it in my, because this is why I came here in the first place. And then he's about to get the hell up out of there, not get the gun at all. But then the car, Teddy, he blocked his U-Haul with his car. Teddy did, so he can't get out. He can't put the piano in there and then get out. And he's trying to, so he has to go back, and then he has to go like, hey man, your car blocked me. And so that's kind of how it kind of devolves into that there towards the end, which I'm going to play there. But yeah, that's what you got there. So yeah, you don't know at first, like, kind of like, is the relationship is a brother? Because one of the speculation was that Teddy was the father, and that Benny was still, so it was still kind of happening even all those years later there.
Yeah.
Do you remember any wild theories that came from the episode there?
Only like who was behind the mask, like for people who didn't catch on that it was Donald Glover and didn't believe it was Donald Glover, who believed it was someone else. Yeah. But I do remember that the whole basement thing, the way it was shot and the way it was, like, you know, approached and executed, it did feel very horror-esque. Like, I think that was, like, intentionally. Like, did that episode air around Halloween? Like, was that meant to be a Halloween episode?
So this aired in April. In April.
Okay. So no, then, but still, yeah, unsettling, uncomfortable, awkward to watch. You know, Teddy is such a, you know, creepy character, and yeah, all the theories were just, you know, who is he? Where, you know, like, who is he really?
And this, you hear Donald Glover, what he does with the voice and everything like that.
Sam! Was it Sam? My audio-visual woman.
We don't use real names on the message board, so maybe.
Oops.
And then he's eating like a ostrich egg or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy.
Like just some weird. He just casually just eat. Like, who the fuck just eats an ostrich egg?
I work with a friend of mine. He's a rapper.
Rap. There's a funny one. I found it never quite grew out of its adolescence.
I wouldn't say that. You know, we got Jay-Z, he's like 65.
But don't you find it insufficient as an art form?
Nah, I think, you know, every now and again, people just want to have a good time.
Good time.
And you can see, like, you know, throughout this episode, you know, it's like, why doesn't he just immediately give him the piano so he can just get out of it? But it's like he's stalling. You know, he's constantly trying to, you know, drag on conversations when he just dares this came. It's like, hey, I just came in for this piano. And it seems like a cool piano. It's like this piano with all the keys are different, like rainbow colors and everything like that. So it seems like a cool piano that you would want there. But yeah, he's just trying to get in and get out of there. But he's constantly being delayed by Teddy Perkins and, you know, talking and, oh, he's got to take care of his brother at this one moment here and everything. So it's just constant interruptions there for him to kind of get this thing that he wants. And, you know, plenty of times he could probably just get out of there, but he's like, hey, I made it all the way here for this. So you kind of see that there. Yeah, I mean, but great performance from Donald Glover, what he kind of did with Teddy Perkins. And also, like, they also say on the set when that episode happened, he was part of the episode. He walked around like offset. He was Teddy Perkins and everything like that. He still continued the voice, even when he wasn't acting in the scene there. And this was directed by Hiro Moriya, who usually directs a lot of the episodes.
He directs most of it, yeah.
Yeah, he usually directs a lot of the episodes of Atlanta. And he also directed this one as well. And so he's kind of talking a little bit about it here.
We've seen this part of the room before, but we've never seen this part of the room before. So we're revisiting an old room, but giving it kind of new context. And
yeah, if anybody ever, you know, Randy Fair does a really good videos with these directors, actors. They come on and then
I love these. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
the house is definitely a big character in this episode. Most of it is sort of untouched. Obviously, all the merch stuff is new, but you know, this house had this terrifying wallpaper and a lot of the old sort of like colonial designs.
Like, as a fan, it's fun to watch the artists talk about what they were thinking.
Yeah, it gives you a good insight and breakdown of like the scenes and, you know, the episodes and movies and everything like that. Very good if you're a film fan there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like if you, not just the show or the movie, but like, are you a fan of the creative process?
Yeah, which is kind of very interesting as well. And then here you see the scene where Teddy's watching the video of Benny and the father who's abusing him and everything like that in it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why it's just like this constant tension that's in the episode, very much like a thriller that you see there. It's very, you're on edge and tense there. What do you say about kind of people who think that, like, people will go like, yeah, I mean, what happened to Michael Jackson was bad, but if Joe Jackson didn't do what he did, I mean, we wouldn't have Michael Jackson. So doesn't it all balance out? Isn't it kind of worth it? Kind of like the pressure, I guess, creates diamonds. What's kind of your philosophy on that?
Yeah, pressure makes diamonds and fire refines gold. You know, Tito just passed away, and everyone's saying if Tito never picked up the guitar, then Jackson 5 never would have happened, because it was Tito who picked up the guitar, broke a string by accident, and Joe's like, who broke the string on my guitar? And then Catherine was like, before you get mad at Tito, listen to him play. And he goes, okay, boy, then play it. He throws the guitar at his son. You know, it is a sad thing when people who are truly successful think they're abusers, as like, oh, like you really pushed me. I'm like, it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, like where you believe that your abuser and your captor is your friend and is actually looking out for you in a way. Absolutely, you know, of course, if Joe didn't push them the way he did, they wouldn't have, you know, I don't think it would have happened, you know, because then if not Joe, who was going to discover them and push them in that way? So it's not fun to admit, but it's probably is true to a certain extent that if Joe didn't do what he did, then yeah, there would be no Jackson 5, Michael Jackson and stuff.
Yeah, and people talk about that like with Prince, like what he did with his, I think it was his producers or singers there, like he keep them in the studio for like 14 hours a day and everything.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
hear a lot of stories about Prince being really controlling.
Yeah,
And like changing people's names if he like disagrees with it. Nah, that's not your name. Your name is Carmen Electra. Like, okay, it's not, but I guess it is now because Prince changed my name just now, and people go with it because that's his clout, his power.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, would Michael Jackson still be the Michael Jackson we know if you didn't have Joe Jackson there? I guess we'll never know because that obviously never happen there. So you can't go to some alternate reality there and figure that out. With it, I don't know. Maybe Michael Jackson, like you said, I mean, he got a little bit less than everybody else because maybe he just was so naturally gifted,
yeah,
and talented, and
yeah,
dancing and singing that maybe he would have still been the person he was there.
It's like the way Quavo and Offset give Takeoff credit, because Takeoff was always the one who was practicing his rapping skills, and that's why he was like the best out of the three. Mike was always studying James Brown, like his dance moves. So like at 5 years old, he already had the movements in him, you know. So there's a reason why.
Yeah. And this is Darius here, who this is primarily a Darius led episode, really.
Yeah.
You barely this is the scene you only get to see the Paperboy and then Donald Glover's character. This is the only time you get to see him throughout the whole episode. Here is just this scene when he's on the phone call with him. And then Atlanta, they do these sometimes episode where just will focus maybe on one member of the cast here, and then leave out kind of some of the others. Like there was the episode with Paperboy with him and his barber, which was another amazing episode there, where he's running in the woods and shit like that, or the episode with his barber or everything like that. So you do have that kind of going on. Like there will be a solo episode with Zazie Beetz where she just goes to like a Drake party or whatever there, and that's the main episode there with her. And it's funny that everybody from this cast, I mean, pretty much all of them blew up. I mean, Lakeith Stanfield, Brian,
they all blew up. Season 3 and 4, they're barely in it because they're so busy. Especially season 3. Season 3 was like just a bunch of anthology episodes, just a lot of Afro surrealism, a lot of Donald Glover just showing the world how crazy it is to be black in this country. That's why I really love season 3. If people go back and watch that season, every episode just. If anyone's thinking we're making it up, if anyone thinks we're over-exaggerating about our experience in this country, watch season 3 of Atlanta. You'll see how weird and crazy it is, our reality, how weird it is to be us. And yeah, but you know, yeah, Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield, Zazie Beetz, they're all A-list stars now, and you know, they're all booked and busy, so it's amazing.
Really want this piano, man. It's nice. It's colored keys, and it's free.
But is you willing to die for it, though, man?
You sound like a serial killer. And let me get a 5 cheese crystal combo, no fries.
Cheap it with fries.
And even this dude right here was the friend. He just showed up. He was George Foreman in that movie too. Even though he don't look shit like George Foreman, but he was George Foreman in that movie.
Yeah, he was also he had a small supporting role in Judas and the Black Messiah. He was the leader. Yeah. He was the leader of the Green Berets.
Oh yeah, he was. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
Fries. That's rich nigga shit, man. You don't know nothing about that.
Look, man, if I leave, I'll regret it.
And I got a 2 regret life limit pack.
Wait. A what?
A 2 regret life limit pact. Somebody got to take me out if I go over 2.
What? How would anyone know you went over 2 regrets?
I tell them.
Oh, shit. Paper boy. I mean, the dude is obviously a weirdo, man. Look, we just play along with it, get the piano, and get the hell up out.
Yeah, but how though, man? I feel like he's stalling or something. Like he want to keep me here.
Explain again, man.
Is Teddy the white dude or the black dude?
You know what? I don't even think Teddy exists, bro. I feel like
Benny created Teddy to make up for the fact that he made himself look like a ghoul.
a goal. Like, how bad is he?
It's real bad, man. I mean, bad. The nigga looked like somebody left Sammy Sosa in the dryer.
Yeah, and that's Sammy. So that's another person there. People, baseball player. Who, if you when you first saw Sammy Sosa, I remember Sammy Sosa. He played on the Cubs way back when, and he was like I think he's Dominican, I think. And
He's either Dominican or Cuban. He's Afro Latino, and he's darker than me. He's darker than us. And now
motherfucker look like Count
blue
Chocula.
eyes, bleach skin. Yeah, it's a crazy it's insane.
Yeah,
That's a crazy transformation. That's a dramatic transformation, and no vitiligo there. It's just a lot of self-hate.
Yeah,
you know.
Now he's ready to be running the Republican primary right there. Look at him, man. That's what he's ready to do. But yeah, I mean, yeah, because he was like, yeah, man, dark skinned guy, yeah, Dominican, yeah, Afro Latina, and yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, shame. But yeah, kind of another example of kind of that kind of going on.
He was a handsome guy. He was.
Yeah.
And now, Miracle Whip.
Miracle put himself in the Miracle Whip machine, and came out like that. Yeah. I remember somebody say also he looked like when you saw him all those different pictures back to back, he looked like Neapolitan ice cream. Somebody said there. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's a shame, man. But yeah, I mean, you kind of got that kind of going on here, you know, with the character of Teddy Perkins. Obviously, what kind of turned him into kind of this being here, and that's obviously it's very sad there. And then the ending of this, also the way it kind of ends, is also really crazy. I'm gonna show the ending here. Do you remember the ending of it?
Is the basement scene near the end, right? Is that like almost how the
it's kind of towards the end, and then this scene.
Yeah, how's it end?
So it ends right here, and apologize for the quality. It's a little rough quality on this video here, but apologize for that. But here we go.
Oh yeah, someone else.
Benny, you're alive.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I think before this, so Darius, he comes back, tries to have Teddy move his car, and then that's when Teddy pulls the gun on him, handcuffs him. And I think what Teddy's trying to do is, like he said, I'm gonna make a sacrifice. He's gonna blame Darius for the death of Benny. So he tried to, I think, kill Benny, and then he's gonna blame the death on Darius there. That's what happened. That's why you see he's kind of bloody right here on his shirt and everything like that.
I'm sorry. You had to go through what you had to go through, man.
Oh my God.
Whoa, wait.
Oh my God. I forgot about this.
Yeah. Oh man. And then after all that, he calls the police, everything like that, and he doesn't get the piano. After all that, he
doesn't get it. Damn.
I guess they keep the piano for evidence or something like that. He's like, yeah, after all that. So he walks away sad after all he went through, everything like that is just going all the way here. Yeah. He's like, fuck. I came all this way for nothing. It's like I saw these two dudes die in front of me, and I was like, I don't even get the fucking piano. He's like, damn.
No piano, just trauma.
Just trauma.
Damn.
So yeah.
How do you sleep that night?
I mean, probably not well, I imagine. Probably still hearing his voice, but man, and Darius is portrayed in the show. He's usually the more out there one, the weirder kind of. He's always going on these little side adventures. There, he pops up randomly, and
like Darius is the only character who will pop up in someone else's solo episode, like the Drake episode with Zazie Beetz. Darius showed up at that house. He was the only character who was like, oh hey, what's the character's name in the show? There's
damn, now you got me thinking about it.
it's not
geez.
Vanessa, is it?
I think yeah, it is Vanessa.
Vanessa, yeah. Like he's the only character who like pops up. And in season 1, he was just the stoner friend who's always snacking on something in the background, giving his 6 cents in the conversation, then dipping back. And eventually, yeah, he became a real roamer and just he's doing his own thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how the episode ends there with that.
It's crazy.
But I mean, man, this is like one of I think the best episodes of the show. And the show has a lot of really great episodes. And nobody has watched Atlanta. I mean, I think it lasted 4 seasons. It did. Yeah, and probably didn't continue longer because, like I said, everybody blew up. So it's hard to probably get everybody back, work with everybody's schedule, make sure everybody can shoot there. But I mean, this was a really great show. What it did, like I said, season 3 would have these episodes, kind of like anthology type episodes, Black Mirror-ish type episodes, where it's kind of like spin-offs of the show. Would follow all the characters, which was really good there. Any great memories about just this episode or about just Atlanta in general you want to talk about?
Robbing season. I think was it the barbershop episode where Paperboy finds himself kind of lost away from his people in a convenience store, and these young fans, oh, you're Paperboy, but you're out here by yourself, and they rob him, they jump him, they take his chains, like that stands out. Cat Williams, that episode, that stands out. It goes back to him talking about how fast he can run and improving it. But yeah, for me, season 3 stands out from like talking about historically in this country, how many of our Great Lakes used to be predominantly Black towns, and like how many haunted lakes are in this country because they were man-made just to flood a affluent, financially, successful Black area, or borrowing from social media or the pop culture things that have happened, like those white women who adopted those Black kids and like drove them off a cliff or whatever. That season 3. What if we did get like reparations? What would that look like if white people could be proven to have a link to slavery? How much of their annual income goes to a Black person? And like depending on the severity is like it will depict your percentage, like how much you owe. Like it's like the end of the episode, and like these white people are like checking out, and he's like 5%. 10%, wow. 15%, damn, like 15%. Yeah, that and so much more. That one episode that's like all black and white. Scholarships for Black students. All the students in school who weren't Black are trying to like get waves. The Indian kid's wearing a do-rag. This kid who's like half white, half Black, but really leans on his white side, suddenly wants to be more Black, and his girlfriend leaves him because like he's no longer like he's trying to be Black, and he's now like struggling, I guess, and he's not. It's very nuanced. Yeah. This episode was so funny. Trini to the bone about how a lot of these white kids are raised, the reason why Chet Hanks exists, a lot of these white kids are raised by African West Indian nannies, and their parents aren't around, so these white kids do get embedded in the culture. They know what Trini to the bone is. They know what it's like to be at a Black church. They know they don't want bland food. They want some spicy curry mango on the bread so they can enjoy, this. Yeah, season 3 is fantastic. So yeah, that's all I want to say about Atlanta season 3. Please check it out.
Yeah, like it just started doing all those episodes where it just would go off and which was very...
And sorry, last thing, that Goofy movie, the blackest movie ever made, that fake documentary that they did a good job with because it looked real, and like by the end of that episode I was like, is this real? Because they give you a disclaimer, legally we cannot confirm or deny what we're about to tell you, but they got real people interviewed. They got They got actual former Disney execs to come on and talk about it. So like, if yeah, this is hilarious. Like, I don't know how real this is, but they did it. Like, come on, there's no way that picture is like, nah. Like, this black man, they accidentally voted him to be the new head chairman, and that's how this movie came to be. Like, if it's true, amazing documentary, amazing story, but it's probably fictitious. But yeah, it's a great episode. Oh my, yeah, great episode.
Yeah, like it's funny. Like the whole story was like he lost his mind trying to make the Goofy movie.
Trying to make Goofy, he became Goofy.
He became like what the fuck? Like he started to morph into him and wear the shoes. Like what?
Like when he drove his car into the water, you could find Goofy's shoes, like the big cartoon shoes, like in the car. Like he started to record his voice and like I don't know.
Yeah,
crazy.
So yeah, what it does, yeah, it just kind of goes out there. And then there was what's something come out recently? I forgot what it was that people compared a lot to Atlanta. That people said, "Oh, this show is trying to be like Atlanta," or this movie. It was something real recently. I forgot the name of what it was.
I know people say Lil Dicky's Dave is like white people Atlanta.
Yeah, there's that, and then there was something else that came out that I remembered. I reviewed.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith felt like Atlanta sometimes, but that's Donald Glover. So
yeah,
there was one scene with around at a table with some brothers, and it felt like an episode of Atlanta.
Yeah, I forgot exactly what the name of it was, but yeah, there was the Vince Staples show. That's what it was when the Vince Staples show.
Oh yeah, I still gotta watch that.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is just it's a weaker version of Atlanta or whatever like that." And you can watch it probably in the evening because it's only like 15, 20-minute episodes there. So it's super, super short. But yeah, a lot of people were saying that was kind of like Atlanta or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this was a really fantastic episode. I'm glad people voted on this and this won the poll there. I was love to go back and rewatch this episode. So I would give it this is cinema. I mean, this is a really amazing episode. One of the best episodes of television I've seen there. Did you want to give it a rating, even though your memory is not that fresh on you?
I mean, this conversation and the clips we watched, this is cinema for sure. It is so wildly out there. It is so unhinged. It will catch you off guard if you go in completely blind, not knowing anything. It's great. Atlanta is and was great television, and I am so looking forward to whatever Donald Glover does next, because years ago it was announced he was going to get his own hub on Amazon Prime, and I'm still waiting for all of his exclusive content to be on Amazon Prime, because I think he's a great creative mind.
Yeah. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith is having a season 2, and they're going to replace John and Jane. So they're going to so yeah, but I did love Mr. and Mrs. Smith season 1. I did really love that a lot. Were you here on for that, or?
I think we talked about it. Yeah, I think we talked about it. Yeah. The way that show ended, I know it's ambiguous, but the way it ends and the fact that we're getting season 2 new characters, I want to lean on the side that they died. Donald Glover and Maya Erskine.
Yeah, you don't want to see them like maybe pop up, maybe show up like a.
It'd be great to.
Cameo?
I would love. I'm down. I would love to, but I think I don't want them to be dead. But if I had to, think about it, I think they're dead. But I would love to see them again.
Yeah. So that was our thoughts on Atlanta. Teddy Perkins, great episode. Check it out if you haven't. Man, so many classic things. I remember that Atlanta when it was. I think it was like the very first season where it was he was in prison, and then he was in the middle of that conversation, and he was talking. Like the dude was talking over him. He called his ass weird. Like that was a really great moment. Man, that's a lot of really good moments in the show there. Yeah. So